Yo, we back with another one. I know it's been a minute, I know. But I've been hearing that they've been cooking up with this new Madden that's coming out, Madden 27. Yeah. For y'all that don't know, I've been playing Madden 01, 02, something like that, since I was a jit. Yeah, I'm that old. But no, like Madden been a staple in the culture, staple in video game culture. But they say Madden really going hard this year, so they dropped like a gameplay reveal or something like that a while ago, and we just about to see what they talking about, go over it, react to it. See what they talking about. They said they cooking. Let's see what they talking about.
Excited than ever than this aspect right here, and we're going to talk gameplay. And we're talking gameplay for both college football and Madden. So lock in with me here for about the next 15 plus minutes as we go over everything that we're delivering this year in gameplay. So first things first, this is your game. And over the past couple years, when you talk about these two games, one thing that you've been very adamant about is consistency and consistency of features. You don't want to see wear and tear in this game over here and not in this game over here. Anything that has been important or essential to core football, you've wanted that in both games, right? And so we listened to you and we understand. And so with that, we looked at everything. But we took a lot of the main, what we would call here, that I'm going to outline for you. We looked at the differences between both games and really tried to make sure that they were different in their own right. That Saturday played like Saturday and Sunday played like Sunday. So, again, one of those is on the sticks. How does the game feel, right? Typically, college has been wide open. We still want that to be. It's about a game of big plays, but we did a lot more here. You look at playbooks, I think we've done as good a job as anybody. Right? We added over 2,500 new plays, probably plus. We've done a lot now in this realm, so stay with me as we go in here. And then coverage. What does coverage look like? What does a blanket corner in college look like comparative to the NFL? In the trenches, these are where games are won and lost, right? And so we've done a ton of work there. And then AI play. AI play, big point of emphasis for us this year. Abilities. I've always had that same back end, but I spoke two different languages. So a lot of cool things that were going on there. And then home field advantage, a big factor on wins and losses, on how these teams prevail and move on into the postseason, something that had to be accounted for. So let's continue on. Again, going back to that, this is your game. The main thing that you asked for was that you wanted more tools defensively, and that was a focus. Not only did you want more tools, we really needed to shore up the coverage area, so we'll talk about that. Next is this is our built from game day. This is our authenticity pillar. This is where every team is somebody's favorite team. So we wanted to make sure that everything that they are showing, we are bringing to the digital gridiron. And last but not least is my favorite pillar. This is taking the two previous pillars and talking about how do we give you the tools to play your way. All right, so defense wins championships. You've heard it, and what you're going to see here, I think we're going to prove that. What's new? First is coverage. This is the biggest coverage revamp in the history of EA Sports Football. I will gladly put that stake in the ground, and you're going to see why. Something that adds to that, we're adding a new feature called Smart Zones. Next is, again, and this is for a lot of the scrambling cheesers, I know we got a couple back over here, is that those guys that love to just roll out and boot. And now you're not going to see linebackers just staring and looking into space with no one to guard. Guys will lock and chase and really take care of that organized chaos that we see every weekend. Red zone specific behavior. No longer guys on hitches or corner routes behind in the back of the end zone. They are now playing with the knowledge of what is behind them and to correctly use their leverage. And then one of my favorites, and that you're going to see later on here, is we've added double team improvements, inside out, bracket logic, and just a new coverage focus mechanic that really allows you to put the tools in your hands to take away the other team's best player. And then for a lot of the heavy X's and O's guys out there, This game is as detailed as it's ever been, as we're adding user-controlled coverage checks. And then we bring everything home with what you see over the weekend is that hand-to-hand combat that's going on the outsides with our new wide receiver DB jostle mechanics. First, when you talk about revamping and overhauling our zones, we had to add look for work. What is look for work? Before, in games in Madden and college football history, you could have a middle line.
Oh, y'all see that? They about to show it again, like how the linebacker 13.
Linebacker sitting there, a crosser that is coming, and he doesn't play him until he enters his zone.
Like right here, he guarding this guy streaking over the middle, but they in zone coverage, so
Look for work and now allows our
he ran out of his zone and he picked up somebody else coming into his zone. If they implemented that in the game,
CPU defenders to play with anticipation. This is a game changer when it comes to the defensive game. And as you can see here, I think we have Ernest Jones in this clip. He's moving, passing along a crosser to then get to another crosser. So he was playing it. He's going to take this, pass this crosser off, jump the next crosser again, playing with anticipation, making the play. Again, something you're going to feel immediately. Next is smart zones. This is giving you, both at an individual and team level, the ability to play a particular zone. Do you want to take that drag route? Well, now you have the ability to play aggressive or ultra aggressive. Is the quarterback consistently throwing that two ball over your head, running that deep crosser? Put him in conservative or ultra conservative. The options are now yours, both again on a team or individual level. And here's an example: running slant and out to the flat. Ultra conservative setting on, jumping the routes. Again, all that creativity now is just right there in your hands.
that was ultra conservative.
Okay, and then one of my favorite aspects of what we're doing, we talked about the covered adjustment checks. We've added 25 different custom brand new checks to the game this year. So again, how do you want cover 1 to play trips? How do you want cover 4 to play bunch? All the options are there, both in the front end, in your coach settings. So again, the world is your oyster when it comes to the defensive game this year. All right, now let's talk about the physical part of the game and what you see, again, on every Saturday and Sunday. And that's the wide receiver DB press. Yes, we have had this before, but what's new this year is that in previous years, receivers would just try to win, and they had no concept of what route they were previously running. In real life, if I'm running a comeback or I'm running an out route, I typically want to win to the outside, and now that is the case. On the other side, on the defensive side, if you're in a shade technique and he wants to get inside, that leverage is more important now than ever. We have boosted those win chances for the defensive side of the ball. So a great cat and mouse game. And then you combine that with receivers and their...
See, when you just say you boosted the chances for the defense, that don't, like, why you, the offense used to get off, but, like, make it to where the tough DBs, the Pat Surtains and the guys that are just harassing people at the line of scrimmage, make it to where they can win at the line of scrimmage. But if you watching NFL football, a lot of DBs ain't winning at the line of scrimmage. Just the average DB. So when they say they boosted the chances, I hope that ain't, universal. But maybe they did just implement the ratings into the chances of winning at the line of scrimmage.
Ability to now actually come back and play the ball. We got something good here cooking. And now, wide receiver DB jostle. So with our friends up at FC have doing a phenomenal job with this feature in the past. We wanted a two-player system that didn't feel all snatchy and attached and feel like it was so scripted. And so DB with the wide receiver jostle, you can attach at 3 different points. You can attach on the move, you can attach at the cut point, or we like to call it the stem of the route, or when the ball is in flight. Now, for the first time in a Madden football game on the defensive sides, great corners like Aeneas Williams or Richard Sherman, guys who were fast but not top of the league fast, but who were elite at technique, being physical. Now when you attach and you can stay in phase with the receiver, you will slow him down. Again, this is not for everybody, not every matchup, because you got to still watch out for the burners like Tyreek Hill and others with that high 90 speed that can run away from you. But again, this is changing the timing of the routes. It changes the old visual look of the game. And again, defensively, this visual look and feel is something you're really going to appreciate, and just think of where has this been all along.
With that, I liked it. I really liked it. Where they say you could jostle with the wide receiver and DBs, and 95 speed dudes ain't just running past you every time. Because in Madden, they just put in the fast guys and run past people. If you can use physicality and slow them guys down, that's tight. But my question is the PIs gonna come along with that? That's just where my first mind went. If they're putting in mechanics to be more physical, are they going to put in PI mechanics as well? That's just my thought.
All right, now let's get into our Built from Game Day section. Again, our authenticity pillar. And when you talk about the differences between two games, nothing speaks to that more than playbooks. We've added over 1,500 new plays. And then one special one I'd point out is the shotgun power eye tight formation from West Virginia. Pretty cool stuff there. Next is short yardage gameplay, a continued investment in the trenches. Again, that's where games are won and lost, but more in particular, inside the red zone, inside the 5. From there, we go into Smart Coach 2.0. For years, my guy Chad, other guys in the community, we've talked about our real-time coaching engine, which is second to none in this industry, and it's our adaptive, all the different tools that we got with adaptation. Pro football focus knowledge and scheme in there. And for years we've heard, hey, all these adjustments are going on. Why can't it just do it for me? Well, now you have that chance. You're going to see these hints that pop up in Madden, and it says, hey, we suggest this, this, and this. Hey, we're going to maybe pinch the line, show blitz. You can hit square and opt into it right at pre-play. You'll see the art change, and it's really rewarding when everything comes together. Next, in our quest to make the ball carrier, CPU ball carrier that is, as authentic and real looking as what you see in real life, or just make it feel and look more like a human, we have integrated a machine learning ball carrier pathing system. Some really exciting stuff going on in that field. And then sim heads rejoice because hot and cold is here, it's back, and it's back in a way that you've wanted. Again, you're going to see a lot more highs and lows, not as much as what you see in college, but they say the kids at home will tell you, hey, you got to let the boys cook. So if my man Stafford is out here rolling the MVP, you're going to see it out here on Sunday. Coach chat, whether you're a coach at home, right, or you're seeing it on Saturdays, the ups and downs of these student athletes. You see some coaches maybe console and talk to a kid, or he just has to lay into them. Well, our version of that is introducing coach chat. Open up the dynamic subs menu, go down to the player that has the cold icon on him because he's rattled, go talk to him. But you only get 3 of these per game. Coach has got to coach, right? So you got to be very mindful. But it will take a cold player all the way back to neutral, level set him, and then get him ready to play the rest of the game. And then home field advantage. Again, sim heads, you've asked for this for years, but this is brought back in the most correct way possible. This is only impacting the visiting team. The biggest environments.
That's where home field advantage was already cheese enough in college. Now you bringing it to Madden, so you mean to tell me when I hop online, if I ain't the home team, now my screen about to be rattling and quarterback just can't throw for nothing. I get home field advantage, but find different ways to implement it. The way they be implementing that shit, bullshit.
Such as Seattle, New Orleans, Kansas City, Everybody has their own home field, but they are replicated as much as anyone because, again, playing a game in December should be much different than playing a game in January. And then dynamic weather. I know a lot of you have been reading a lot of forums. There's been a lot of assumptions around this. Dynamic weather is as cool as it gets, and nothing speaks to home field advantage like dynamic weather. And then abilities. We mentioned abilities earlier. And you know what? Let's get right to that. What are we doing with abilities? First off, when you look at abilities, it was important for us to have a unified football identity. Again, same back end, but they have both been speaking two different languages. And you guys, the fans, it is your game, have told us clearly that you prefer the college system of abilities, right? And so you look here at Colin Simmons, one of the best defensive ends in all of college football. He's got 5 physicals, right? We've had that, but that's his limit. So then how are we doing this on Madden? Now Madden is also having the tiered ability system, right? But we needed to have distinct progression here. When you talk about Madden, there is bronze to gold. Those are the tiers. But unlike college, where you get a percentage better at that set ability, here, each ability, or most abilities, come with different tools and weapons in your toolbox that really makes every player feel elite immediately. And then last but not least is that abilities in Madden are unlimited that you can have on a particular player. See it as, when you go to Madden, that is the prime of your career. And then hot and cold, we just mentioned that. Well, how does that impact here? We have X factors. X factors will still be in Madden. The Heisman tier is still in college. You know, you got to let the boys cook to get up to that Heisman tier. But with that being said, you could still meet the criteria of an X factor ability, but if you're cold, it doesn't matter. So you got to be at least getting close to hot or a neutral and really get it going before your X factor can activate. Now, let's get into the trenches. Here it is. Just over the years, our game has never looked the way it looks over the weekend, that being Saturday and Sunday. But I guess we're playing football, it seems like, every day this week. But again, we have added a ton. 2-man Adams, 3-man Adams, 4-man Adams, submarine technique, cut block technique, as you can see here in last year's Madden 26, and just the QB sneak. And then what we've added here, here's the real life of what a quarterback sneak looks like. We needed to bring it all together and make you really fight for every yard. And so now you can see our all-new quarterback sneak meter. Again, you're seeing different levels of green. Well, what changes the green? Now with the quarterback sneak meter, we're looking at your center, your 2 guards, who's in the A-gaps, how many are in the A-gaps, and then is it home field advantage? What type of pressure situation is of it? Are you going for it on 4th and 2? Is it 4th and a short 1? All of these things play into the different types of outcomes on how, again, that meter, how fast that meter will go. All right, and then talking about in between the tackles, nothing says that more than pounding the rock. Championship teams got to have a foundational run game. So what we did here, this is talking about just CPU ball carriers only. We've used our cloning machine learning technology. We've put the controllers in some of the best hands in the studio to train this model. And this touchdown run that you are seeing is by a CPU ball carrier, something that we wouldn't see before. Again, they'll go inside, stay up the middle if they can, bounce it outside, get to the sidelines. And one of the most exciting parts of this is that it's a year 1 implementation. So where we're at now, we're super excited about. And then where we're going to go in the future is an awesome foundational beginning. All right, home field advantage. Whether it's Stafford trying to win a game in a cold, snowy Philadelphia, or Kansas City, and Josh Allen is trying to pull it off inside of Arrowhead. You can look it up. Arrowhead in particular, and I think a few others, are louder than maybe 100,000 at LSU at night. Again, home field advantage is a factor depending on the team, depending on the year. Could be a 3+ point, odd when it comes to the NFL game. So it was just absolutely vital that we made this happen in a way. And how we're delivering this is very authentic to the NFL. A decimal meter will be placed on the top left-hand corner of the screen. You don't see the squiggly lines that you'll see in college. You won't see the meter pop up as much as you do in college, but it's very, very authentic to the game.
Yeah, please don't do that.
And then, like I mentioned before, nothing speaks to home field advantage more than dynamic weather. We all saw what the AFC Championship looked like and just how the game changed in a half inside of Denver, right? And that is the same thing that can happen in your game in both college and Madden. Okay, it can be clear and then it can get snowy. It can be just coming down hard and then clear up. And again, as the weather gets worse, the gameplay gets tougher. Movement starts to be affected, right? You remember us talking about this last year with weather ball. We've even added more to that. Slips, change of direction, everything is impacted by the weather. And now you're seeing stuff like dynamic accumulation and surface collision. Well, really, what does that mean? Snow can pile up, and hell, if your player decides to lay down in the snow and do a snow angel, you'll see it too. But just shout out to everybody that made this happen, because both from a gameplay standpoint, an artistic standpoint, an immersion standpoint, this is awesome. This is really what home field really reminds me of, and it's just immersion 101.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
All right, coming down to the home stretch. Play your way. What tools are we giving you as the user to play your way? First, we're talking coach mode, baby. We are talking coach mode. In coach mode here, we have got coach mode specific cameras for you. You got a plethora of different options that you can use. When you call a play, you can now select the primary receiver on that play. You can audible, you can hot route. All of those things are at your disposal. But the cool wrinkle here, one of my favorite wrinkles when it comes to coach mode for the people that want to use it, is no different than real life. The headset shuts off under 15 seconds. So at that point, you just got to just trust your signal caller to make the play. Next is play call substitutions. This is just a quality of life feature. Last year we introduced dynamic substitutions where you can sub on the fly. Our goal here is to keep you out of the pause menu. But one thing you asked us for was that I want to sub before the play. A guy's banged up, wear and tear, he's a little rattled. You know, he's like Chad playing at USC. We got to get him out of the game. So again, you can go ahead and make that substitution right away. Jump the snap. An awesome defensive end, defensive line move where you can really enhance how well and how fast you get off the ball. I'm not going to spoil what RTG has for you, but you're going to see there's a lot here and where you could use this. The tackle stick. Now you no longer have to come off the stick to really make a play. Down is still cut stick, up is still hit stick. Left is lunge, and right is wrap. So you're all there. You can use all those four options right there on the right stick to tackle how you want. And then the big thing, which I think a lot of you are going to like and prefer, for a lot of you competitive guys out there, I didn't think I should drop that ball. I should have caught that. This is just an ongoing debate that's happened for 30 years, right? Because you've been subject to the dice rolls. Well, now, if you choose, you can now turn on timing-based catching, and you decide those outcomes. And then the last one's bringing it home was pre-play controls. It was about time that we...
What timing-based catching? Well, I guess they're about to go into it.
We made some controls, but with these controls, I promise you, you are faster than ever. And then last but not least, some of you tried to leak this online. I saw it. And you got kind of close, but you'll be even more excited because we got a lot more here than you even put in your videos. But again, winners win. You are not going to get us. So lock in for one of the best features that this studio has ever released. All right, let's talk timing-based catching. You got 3 different colors you really have to worry about. You got red, which means you're late. As soon as this thing hits the red, it's a drop. You've got yellow. Yellow, it is now subject to the dice roll. Your yellow size is dependent on the ratings of your receiver. Again, you're a little early, you get yellow, you're going to get a drop. You may get a catch. I don't know. Same thing as it was before. And then there's green. Oh, the kids love green. They love it in every sport. We're green, okay? We got green here. But the great thing about this with green is it's dynamic. How good is your receiver? All right, what situation's in? Is he covered? Are you going for an aggressive catch, a secure catch? Over the years, catching traffic, toe drag swag, mossing somebody, right? That has just all been dice rolls. We've never really been able to solve that other than just giving you the best, based on player and matchup result. That is the most realistic football. But now this is all in your hands. Next, we move into our pre-play controls. And again, let's talk about pre-play controls. When we talk about pre-play controls, we first need to address accessibility. The analogy that I've given everybody here in the studio is that our previous control scheme, especially defensively, is like those who have kids and you're telling them to go clean their room. Usually what happens is they find open spaces, start shoving toys and everything into open spaces, and nothing really gets organized or cleaned properly. An example of that is last year. Up was substitutions, down toggled cameras. Left and right, for some reason, was toggling your defensive line and linebackers, right? Contextually, that didn't make a lot of sense. But we've been trying to add so many new features and give you guys all the power we can. We just needed to go back to the drawing board here. And again, we've done plenty of research. This is no strategy pad where we're adding more clicks. You are faster than ever before. And it all starts here. One of the first examples is just D-line. You want to change your D-line linebackers? It's all right there on the right stick. But you want to change everything and make multiple adjustments at one time. Everything this year starts off of the left trigger in your global coverage adjustment HUD. As you hold that up, you will be able to change your leverage, your technique, and your smart zones. And you can do all of that fast. You don't have to keep entering different HUDs and states. So making multiple adjustments here, like I'll show you in a sec, would have taken you 10 plus clicks. No longer is that the case. And then my favorite part about what we've done here is I've had not just new players, I've had fans that have played this game every year, and they only do a certain amount of adjustments just because of the sweatiness, as the people in the streets like to say, of our pre-play control system. I just want to double team a receiver. How do I just roll coverage over somebody? So now when you're holding left trigger, all of the receiver icons will pop up. Pick that corresponding receiver and then just press square, and now you're double teaming them. And then let's say Chad says, that's too aggressive. I don't want to do all that. I just want to roll coverage over him and just take my safety over the top of where he's at. You got that option too. Pick the corresponding receiver, press A or X, and you're good to go. Okay, and then now as you'll see here in this video, here I am using our global custom adjustments, and this is just an opportunity to show you that you can make multiple clicks, be as fast as you can, and again, you don't have to enter different states. In fact, that we have put this through an entire AI model as well to confirm that you are 1 to 5 to 8, maybe 10 plus clicks saved that we've saved you over time adding this. Will it take some learning? Absolutely, and some muscle memory, especially of the vets out there, but trust us, you'll thank us later. All right, now let's move to it. We're in the home stretch, custom adjustments. Again, a lot of you have heard about this. This is basically your super macro power here, and to make multiple adjustments and really be like your favorite signal caller, right? So this all starts with being able to create the custom adjustment. You'll go into the front end, and really every adjustment that we have from a coaching adjustment perspective, a hot route perspective, is all in your hands on both offense and defense. So you will come in here, pick whatever adjustments that you want to call, and then you will save them, and you can save 20 on offense and 20 on defense. But the kicker here is that you can only take 10 into each game. So there is game planning that is going on with this. Once you've made your custom adjustment, so one adjustment could be, I'm going to pinch the line, I'm going to play my corners tight, I'm going to move my corner depth, all right? You can then save that and then call that right here at play call. And then if you say, no, I'm going to wait later, I can call it at pre-play and really shake the defense up. And then my favorite part of custom adjustments is we have a lot of core football fans who have played this game for a long time that I talked about earlier, and they know they're playing with their buddy on the couch, they're playing online, and they know, hey, Farrells is going to scramble. That's all he does is scramble out. Now, L1 is the custom adjustment button. You hit L1 and all of these base adjustments are there. So you can stop a quarterback from scrambling, play short routes. You want to stay over the top and not allow any deep passes. You're looking for the screens or any type of RPO situation, hit that. So you just L1, pick that corresponding button. And then we've even got some other special ones too, right? You wanted to disguise coverage or fake your blitz, right? That is all now really at the hands of simply 2 clicks. So this feature is accessible for anybody new coming in, or are 1% competitive core players that are as good as it gets? So you've heard everything now that we have with the core of the American football, of what we're doing here. So again, what are you looking for? What's that gameplay differentiation to feel like? What should I expect? And what you're going to expect is on the sticks, you're going to see a wide open, just like you've seen before, a very 25 feel in terms of locomotion, but a more authentic defensive style on college. And then in Madden, the game is faster. It is. Players are rated higher. The game is just tighter. It's that pro-level precision. Playbooks, we've already talked about that. But in college, you know, it's about tempo, creativity, the wide splits of Oklahoma and Tennessee. And then you look at the deeper schemes, more compressed, chess-level strategy, that McVay-Shanahan tree of the zone scheme. It is all there in Madden football. And then coverage. Again, what you see is more or less of what you get. You see some flat alignments out there. You see a little rotation. You know, the college game is definitely smarter than what it used to be, but you got bigger windows in the zone. Again, these are student athletes. Yes, they're paid, but they're still student athletes. Where in coverage here, you got a lot more disguised looks, simulated pressures, and just overall smarter adjustments and more adjustments that they can go to in their tool shed. The smarter game is in Madden football. And then in the trenches, you're talking just chaos in the box, bigger run lanes. In Madden, you're seeing tighter gap integrity, really player differentiation and team differentiation in both games and how they're filling the box. And then AI play, right? Big emphasis on AI play. But what's Mendoza going to look like after last year? What does that rookie quarterback look like when he walks in? We wanted to make sure that we are replicating that to its most authentic level. Because these quarterbacks in the NFL level, like my guy Stafford, the MVP, these guys are surgeons. And abilities. Again, we just went over that. You got your stock abilities, you got your percent progression in college. In Madden, they're unlimited. Stars are feeling like stars. And then at home field advantage, crowd energy becomes a weapon. And then now in Madden, as you've wanted, it's really all about noise management and executing under pressure. And there's nothing like being able to swag out with your favorite player, right? And so now you've got 50 different inputs on both college and Madden to let you taunt how you want, do pageantry celebrations in college. Again, the world is your oyster here. So again, I'd like to thank you. This is the most authentic, in-depth game we've ever shipped. There are features in here that are as deep and better than anything that we've ever done. We are excited for you to get your hands on both college and Madden. You're going to feel that true differentiation that you've always wanted and been feeling over the past couple of years. So I thank you. Prepare for one hell of a football season. I'm excited to see you guys on the sticks. Excited than ever.
Yeah, so it looked like they put a lot of time, energy, and effort into progressing this game for 27. You know, we'll only be able to tell how fluid the changes are when the game drop. You know, so stay tuned. I'm gonna be streaming Madden, you know what I'm saying, kicking y'all ass and out here on these streams. So yeah, till next time.